Hello, fellow investors, and welcome to Sylle Invest, where we bring knowledge back to investing. What dates should you keep your eyes on if you are a shareholder of Cielo Waste Solutions? Today we'll talk about the upcoming catalysts for Cielo and what they mean for you as an investor. Remember that I'm not a financial advisor and you should do your own research before investing. Before we dive into the catalyst, I'll briefly explain the company Cielo Waste Solutions. Cielo is a company that turns waste, including all plastics, into high-grade renewable fuels. The only materials Cielo can't process are stone, metal, and glass. Cielo's solution is very profitable with a 63.4% gross margin. Cielo's solution is modular, which makes it easy to expand. Cielo's solution reduces greenhouse emissions, which makes them green. And there is no competition in Canada currently. Here is the list of catalysts. It is in chronological order, and the bold italic text means it is an important catalyst for the company and for you as an investor. Let's start from the top. In June, Dunmore is going to break ground on their facility. If you look at the timeline, June there, it is said that it is going to break ground in the absolute end of June, like the last week. And I would say if they keep true to the word, that is how it is going to be. But I would not be surprised if it was pushed, at the very, very beginning of July. So I would not be surprised if that happens. So late June, perhaps first week July. That's what I would say this would happen. And what does this mean for Cielo as a company? I would say this means a lot, having Dunmore breaking ground, because it is their first JV facility. And this is actually the first physical thing that is happening that isn't like an MOU, like an agreement or a deal. This is an actual thing that's tangible, that investors can feel, and it is the beginning. And it also shows that their JV partnership, that Renewable U Energy, are committed in building these facilities with Cielo. And what does this mean for you as a shareholder? I would say that when Dunmore breaks ground, it will be an increase in the stock price. Not perhaps like huge, because we're still waiting for the desulfurization, but I would expect to see some kind of bump in the stock price. So I'm looking forward to this catalyst to tick off very soon. Moving on to the next one. In June to the first half of July, we have uplisting from CMC to TSXV. Now, there are different opinions on when this is supposed to happen. This week, on I think it was Tuesday, Cielo went out and said that they have a conditional approval to be uplisted to the TSXV. And that's great, but I don't really know how long that will take. I tried to do some Googling, but these processes, I would say, takes a little while. First, Cielo needs to do all of the things that they have gotten, like this conditional approval. You need to do this before you get an approval. So they need to fix that, and then they need to send that to the TSXV, and they will also have to verify that these changes have been made before it's like some bureaucracy to make it happen. So I would say it will take a couple of weeks, perhaps. So I would say, like with Dunmore, very late in June, and even perhaps early in July. So yeah, some people were wishing for like the next coming days. I would say that's wishful thinking. So let's be more conservative here. Very late June, perhaps early July. And for Cielo, this is actually a very good thing, because going to the TSXV means there will be more brokers that can purchase this stock, so they will have more investors that can buy the stock. And if you look at institutions, they don't touch CSC often. Most of them really don't, and most of them even don't touch TSXV because they look only at TSX. But I would say there are more institutions that looks on TSXV versus the CSC. So this is actually it's a big step for Cielo. And it's a necessary step to take before they can go to the TSX, which I would say is their goal. And looking at the stock price, when they finally come to the TSXV, I'm not actually expecting anything big. Sure, it might be a little bump, because perhaps there are some traders or investors that want to join on the train, but their broker can't trade on the CSC. So we will get some of those, and it will be a slight bump, but some people are expecting like big things, and I don't think that's going to happen. Moving on, let's see, it's June and the first half of July, we have the desulfurization equipment installed and commissioned in Aldersyde. I mean, this is great once this happens. I would say very late June, and even here, it's like actually almost the same timeline as these before, even early July, because they have been waiting to get these equipment going, and they had some things that were missing like this week. I don't know if they have gotten it this week or if it will arrive next week. And then they need to install that, and the commissioning can take 2 weeks. So I would not be surprised if this was also pushed into early July. I would say many of these things, I don't think June is the month things will happen, but like first week of July is like, that's where the party is at. And for the company, of course, this is an important step because they need to commission and install it if it's going to work. And for the stock price, I would say, not much is going to happen, perhaps a small bump, but what we're really looking for is the production. Once we have production, that's like the main goal. This is just a hurdle on the way. And in the first half of July, I know they say that, it will happen in end of June. And, now they have even said, like in the last interview with Don Allen, he's come out and say, well, perhaps it will be pushed to July. I would say not perhaps, but definitely, considering, I don't even think the commissioning is going to be done in June. Then the production, they need to test it. That also takes 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks from their own statements. So I would say June is not going to happen. First half of July, definitely. I would look at perhaps, 10, 15, the middle first half part. But this is huge. When this happens, it is the biggest thing for Cielo, because once they have full production of low sulfur diesel, they have their product, and this is what they want to do for the rest of their lives. So I would say the biggest thing that is, once this happened, is like the biggest thing for Cielo in perhaps even since they begun. This is what they have been working for. So this is gonna be huge for the company. It's gonna be the stock price. I would say is gonna go mad, and this opens up for so many things. I don't think people perhaps understand, but it opens up for so many things, because once they have this production, they're going to take the fuel from this production and they have to give it out to different companies because they want to sell this, their fuel. They want to sell it to the marine, to the jet industry, but they need to test the fuel before they can arrange any deals. So once this is done, they can start handing out the fuel to different companies, and that is going to give them more deals in the future. So this really big short term, but long term even bigger. This is where it's at. So I'm really looking forward to this to happen, and I hope you are too. Moving on to July, we have a commercial feedstock demonstration of used railway ties with 100 and 500 tons. This was actually part of a press release 3 months back where they said that they're gonna have these demonstrations done and analyzed in 3 months, which would mean like mid-July. There might have been some delays because the entire desulfurization has been delayed. I say all of July to give them, perhaps it will be done in the end, who knows. It might even be pushed to August. Not a very important catalyst, in my opinion. It's good for them to have this demonstration because they will have a lot of used railway ties, so it's good that it happens, but I don't think it's going to be any major movement when it happens. But if it does, it should be like mid-end July, if you ask me, and perhaps even early August. We'll see. I'll update this if I have more information later on. In July, August, the carbon emission rates will be announced. This is important for the carbon credits because once we have the carbon emission rates, we can calculate how much they're going to earn from their production, how much they're going to get from the carbon credits. There are a lot of price targets out there, but the problem is all of them have, it's hard to put a price target on Cielo because Don Allen's latest, what he said is that once the carbon credits reach 170 Canadian dollar per carbon credit, then the income from the carbon credits might actually be bigger than their EBITDA. And that's a huge statement. And none I've heard of have actually managed to make any calculations that reach those levels. So it sounds a little fairy tale-ish. If it's true, everyone would be happy. But I would say this is actually a really important catalyst. But I didn't bold it because it might go either way. If what he says is true, then this is amazing. It's like revolutionary. And if it's, very bad, then perhaps the stock price will take a hit. It's a little of a wild card. I'm looking forward to this, and I think many people are. So July, August, keep an eye on this. In August, September, we have the year-end financial statement. And following this, we also have in September, October, the Q1 financial statement. Both are financial statements. Here is something I want to make you aware of, that in earlier years, the year-end financial statement and the Q1 financial statement have actually been quite close. There was 1 year, from what I can see from the history, that they released the year-end and the Q1 financial statement at the same day. I don't think this is going to be the case this time, because I think Cielo was very smart here. Because the year-end, it ends at the latest, like the 30, is it 30? The last date in April. And they did, just before that, they had this acceleration of warrants where people would have to buy their warrants, which gave Cielo a lot of money at the end of April. And they used this money to pay off their loan. So the year-end financial statement, I am pretty certain it will show that Cielo is debt-free. Debt-free for a company like that hasn't even started production, that is like unheard of. That's huge. And the thing is, when you see people, when they talk about Cielo, they don't usually dive deep. They look at like the financial statement, and sure, if you look at the financial statement and you try to make a prediction, it looks like shit. It's a risky play, and anyone who doesn't go deep is gonna think this is an awful company and just move on. So I think they know this. So they really cleaned up just before the end of the year end. And I think that is going to follow them for the coming year. So people who just look at the year end financial, they'd be like, oh, this looks good. And there is no debt. What is going on? And then they will have more investors because if there's no debt, they will not go bankrupt. So that is a huge, like, ballsy move. I really like it. And I think Cielo did it on purpose. And I also think that that means that these two, the Q1 and the year-end statement, are not going to be close. They want to ride the wave of the year-end financial statement. So they will most likely release this as soon as they can, and they will be very slow with releasing the Q1, because the Q1, they did get some debt in the period of May 1 to July 31 for the Edmonton facility. So this one is going to look a little more harsh. So I would say this one should be released in October, and this one is going to be pushed in, like the year end is going to be pushed in August, so they can showcase these good numbers for as long as they can. That's my take on it. Okay, and yeah, I don't think this is going to move the stock price too much, but I think it's very good for investors that want to jump on the train to see good numbers. So long term, great. Short term, I don't think it's going to do very much. And here comes something I'm very excited about. Q4 2021, Aldersyde is going to have a commission of the expansion to 2,000 liters per hour. Now that means that not only that they're going to double their production, it also means that, because here's the thing, when you hear, the plants that Cielo has are going to be 4,000 liters per hour. But the plants consist of 2 reactors that are 2,000 liters per hour. So once Cielo managed to get Aldersyde 2,000 liters per hour, if that would be like they have 1 reactor doing this, then they will automatically be able to expand up to 4,000 liters per hour. So people are talking about they need to expand to 1,000 liters per hour, then 2,000, then it's going to be, then they have to do some more research to get to 4,000. You actually remove the entire last step. As soon as you do this, you will have the 4,000 liters per hour done. So this is a bigger catalyst than I think people believe. This is enormous. And I'm really looking forward to this. And I think also Renewable U Energy is looking forward to this, because they are building their their Dunmore facility that is going to have these 2 reactor solutions, and also the Edmonton is going to have this solution as well. So I think both of them are very happy that this expansion will be done as soon as possible, so they know it works and they can implement it in their facilities as soon as possible. So this will be huge for Cielo, and I think it will be huge for the stock price moving forward. Next, we have Q1 2022, where Toronto will have its site selection confirmed, and also the land purchase. It's just a small, I mean, it's nice because then it means they will have 1 more facility. And right now it's so few facilities, so just having like a confirmed site selection and land purchase, it might actually move the stock price a bit, and it might also it also shows that they are expanding. If they have like 10 facilities and they release a news that, oh, we have purchased land for the 11th facility, that wouldn't mean anything and it wouldn't move the stock price, I would say. But right now, having so few facilities, this is good. It will show that they're moving forward, and it will bring some confidence in the investors that this is a thing for the future. So good for Cielo. I don't know how much this will do to the stock price, but I wouldn't count on a big jump, but it is good that it's being done. Moving on to Q3 2022, we have Dunmore, where production begins. This is enormous, and let me tell you why. Because they will have 3 plants. That's 12,000 liters per hour, and Cielo will get 30% of the revenue, or the income of the production, which would equal, if it was a Cielo facility, that would be like 3,600 liters per hour if it was a Cielo-owned facility. And they only have 2,000 before that. That would be like a 180% production income increase. It's more than double. So this is insanity. This is where the journey begins. So this is where they will expand fast, and this is where they will have income. I look forward to this, and I think this will be huge. And the stock price should really, like, I wouldn't say go to the moon, but perhaps, go to the moon. It's one of those big bumps we should expect and look forward to. The next one is a little interesting. Q4 2022, Edmonton is going to have commission of the facility, and we're going to have positive cash flow once production begins. And positive cash flow, that is also a big milestone. Edmonton itself will increase the production income by 71.5%. That's a huge bump, so it's also a very big thing. The timeline on this is a little interesting because they've said that that Edmonton will be producing before year's end. So you could actually say that instead of having commissioning a facility there, you can have production begins. I'm just following what they say in their operation timeline. And also the Edmonton site they just purchased, it also pushed forward the timeline by many months. I don't know if this is when it was pushed forward or if it's even earlier. So this would be like a conservative statement to just say that that in 2022 Q4 that Edmonton will have production. It might be earlier, but I wouldn't expect it to be later. And this is going to be huge for Cielo. It's their first owned, Cielo-owned facility. It's going to be their HQ as well. Here are 4 unknown. These are some interesting things. We don't know when they will drop, but I think they will drop very soon. The first one is they have this business model with municipalities. They're waiting for a mayor and a council to sign off the paper so they can announce it in a press release. Depending on what's in there, I would say this can actually be a big catalyst. Now, people are already aware of the deal, so there would be no wow factor. But if the deal is good, I would say this can be a major thing. And I expect this to drop, the news to drop in within a month. I would be surprised if it was later than July. So this is something I'm looking forward to. And here's the announcement of the US facility location and the city deal. And this city deal is pretty nice. They have this ecosystem where they build around a landfill in the city. So the city is going to capture the methane and make electricity of it that Cielo buys and use. And they also buy the waste. and then they produce this diesel that they sell to the city. It's a really nice ecosystem, and I think it's going to be how they're going to move forward in both cities and perhaps even in municipalities. So it's really amazing, these two. I don't know when this news will drop. It shouldn't perhaps not be as close as the municipalities, but I would also say I would expect it around July, August. Later than that, I would be a little surprised. It could drop anytime, so just be aware that it's there. Here's something I don't think everyone knows, but aldehyde does not produce 1,000 liters per hour right now. Latest, from what we've heard, it was like the late November last year. It had a production of 800 liters per hour. They just wanted some coolers to have it 24/7. The coolers are installed, so aldehyde should be 800 liters per hour now. And Don even confirmed that it was below 1,000 but above 500 in the latest interview. So I would safely say that it's around 800 like before. So now we're waiting for them to, I think they are really trying hard to expand to 1,000 liters per hour so they can announce it and say, hey, look, we have 1,000 liters per hour, because they have never gone out officially and said that. And now we know they don't have it, but I think they really want to say to everyone, so we'll be like, okay, we're finally there. And I think this is gonna be good, because there's been some speculation like, oh, they haven't released the numbers, and it's a lot of confusion about this production. So I think it's really good when once they say it is 1,000, confusion gone. I would expect this news to drop either when they announce that there is production of the low sulfur diesel, or slightly afterwards, because I think they're working on it right now. And it would be a great surprise for everyone if they say, hey, we have low sulfur diesel, and by the way, we are at 1,000 liters per hour. That would be amazing, and that would be crazy for the stock and also for the company. So we'll see. I expect it like July and perhaps August, but we'll see. And then we have the last one. It is when Renewable U Energy enters a definite agreement with Cielo. I've heard from spokesmen of the company that they're just waiting for the desulfurization to work or to be proven, and then it's fine. But if you look at their contracts, they need a continuous flow of 60 days of at least 500 liters per hour, which we know they have more. So even though they say it's fine, I'm very a skeptical person. And if the contract says 60 days of continuous flow, then that's what I'm betting my money on. If they go out and say like, hey, we have a definite agreement before that, hey, I will be happy. But I would not expect it. So I have no clue when this is going to drop. It depends on when aldehyde is going to have 60 days uninterrupted flow. That might be in 2-3 months, but most likely like the end of the year, or perhaps with the desulfurization, they just go out and say, we're happy, let's go into definite agreement. So we'll see. And that was everything. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this video helpful and insightful. And if you did, please like and share. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you want to support my work, please consider becoming a patron or donating. My goal is to do this full time, and your support will help me get there. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.